I would like to share my relationship pattern, and I hope my sharing can help you to navigate through your relationship pattern to uncover and discover the relationship that is going to support growth, prosperity, creativity, and personal evolution. Okay, so I have this relationship pattern where I have been drawn to men who are ego driven and who have low self worth. So, what that looks like is men who have difficulty expressing themselves, who rather run away from love, who are very much still in the past when it comes to even their childhood wounds, particularly could be even father wounds as well as mother wounds, a feeling of not being cared for or nourished in the childhood by the parents. Men who are very can be very controlling in the way that um, they they feel like they're not good enough, so they kind of latch on and try to sort of dominate, you can say. And men who have a huge focus on their success, the success to the point where they are very ungrounded when it comes to the value of relationship and the value of partnership. So I have played a role where I've been the sort of endless giver, right? I've been the person who has this unconditional love, right? Who is so willing to serve and willing to give and to help these individuals to raise their vibration or to really balance out their life. And I found myself taking responsibility for other people's, you can say, personal evolution. So, with this 2020, awakening and this moving to 2021, I'm starting to recognize partnership that is more, you can say, healthy for me. And because a part of the sort of heaviness I've experienced was this feeling of there's this lack of reciprocity, where there was this feeling of wanting to grow but also being held back, as though I couldn't really express myself all the way. I couldn't really be expansive as much as I wanted to, because there was some sort of halt. Something was halted or something was held back. So, it would always feel like I was pushing forward, trying to push forward. So a lot of times I have a natural, very strong masculine energy in me, right? Because I'm very creative. That's masculine energy to put yourself out there, boldly and courageously, right? To get things done, right? And I've noticed that a lot of times I would kind of take on that sort of role of being the very bold one, the one who gets things done and is trying to move things along. But I realized in the sort of journaling of my life and the sort of meditating and relaxing, I've discovered that a partnership within my own imagination that really I don't have to take responsibility for their growth, right? I don't have to be the one who's constantly showing up for things to move along, right? A partnership where this person desires to show up for themselves, desires to look themselves in the mirror and doesn't really feel triggered or sort of agitated by themselves, right? they've gotten to a place in their life where they're willing to do what they need to do to move along, right? And to let go and to really unlock a greater victory within their life, right? And a person who also, in my own imagination, who also can have a balance between the, career and the family life, right? Because I've, had this, these men who have like maybe friend groups or, um, who have these kinds of, these families, people around them where it was very toxic in the way that it was like stuck in the mud, like really stagnant. And, you know, it was kind of just like the bar scene, right? Where you're not really talking about anything that really is inspirational or something that really gets your creativity moving. It's kind of just like filler and just bored type of vibe, right? So, I haven't really had that many relationships, but I wanted to share my observation of, who I've been drawn to, and sort of similarity in the men that I have been drawn to, and the kind of similarity and experience I've had with these men. And I think a lot of it has to, where it stems from and what I've discovered, and the root of why I'm drawn to these particular men is because I have this, like I said, this masculine energy, this sort of natural aspiration, this natural victory, this natural just you can say self-esteem, you can say build up from past lives, where I really um I really like to get things done, right? Creatively. And I've been drawn to men who also kind of want to build up their self esteem and want to build up their creative caliber. And I guess I've been drawn to these men as, right, as a kind of teacher vibe, but also as I see parts of, the potential in them that I also kind of hold within myself, right? And I've realized that um, it's more than just the potential, right? There's a sense of, there's a responsibility to one's potential that I cannot hold for someone else, right? These people need to hold it for themselves, right? So, though I've been very giving and generous and supportive in a very loving, sincere way, there also needs to be a point where people want, a partner wants to participate, a partner wants to practice, a partner wants to go on the journey with you, right? Where, they're excited or enthusiastic about kind of the work that may arise within them that they need to kind of pay attention to, and sort of navigate through and kind of build a confidence around kind of sort of balancing out their own life, right? So, you know, this is something I wanted to share with you all as my own relationship pattern. And then everyone has a different relationship pattern. And I think it's important for us to kind of look at the similarities that we have in relationships so that we can really, really start to bring breakthrough to our relationship so that we don't have to keep repeating the same thing and coming up with the same result or having a similar experience that is really just a life lesson to help us to really see kind of our, what needs to evolve in the way that we relate to ourselves, right? And what we think that we're worthy of and what we're good enough for, right? Because a part of me felt that I was not entirely good enough to have a partner who really would receive me and who would really give me attention and would really welcome in the expansion that, that I constantly looking for, right? So I kind of felt like, okay, I'm, like pretty, I really want a lot of expansion just in many areas of my own personal growth and discovery. And I kind of felt, that maybe I wouldn't be good enough to have that in a partner as well who does, desire expansion. Right. So I kind of would be drawn to just the potential in a man where, they spoke about the expansion, they spoke about, their kind of breakthroughs, but they were not participants, they were not practicing, they were hiding, and they just didn't want to look at themselves, right? So, and then of course, if someone doesn't want to look at themselves, they're not going to want to really look at you, especially if you are really stepping into your shameless expression, right, of yourself, right? So, you know, navigating this relationship pattern can really help us to break through, right, these kind of uh these kind of relationships, right? So that we can really start to receive what is going to really bring us happiness and joy and playfulness and support, or whatever it is that you want to have a bigger experience of in a partnership. And I think a lot of times that, a lot of it is we just don't feel good enough, or we just don't want to wait. We don't really want to do the work, right? And a lot of this work I'm talking about is really getting honest with yourself about the kind of experience you want to have in a partnership in the long haul, or what kind of creativity do you want to have with each other, in what way do you want to collaborate with each other, right? And over the years I've always had this kind of I've always had this kind of what do you call, journal of a divine partner, right? Ever since I was like maybe 15, right? And I've always allowed myself to be patient, and I've always allowed myself to hold space for what really feels good, like is like really a yes, and I'm starting to, see these qualities that I guess I've been, writing down or journaling about a partner. I'm starting to see that really I'm speaking about myself and the kind of person I really want to become, and the kind of person I want to become even more so in a partnership. But not I become this person or I attract these qualities in myself or in another person because I'm in a relationship. Right. So this whole time I've been really working towards becoming these sort of qualities that I've, journaled about a partner over the years, right? As a way to really come into the fullness of my expression, so that when I do experience love or relationship, these type of things, it's coming from a place where I can really be empowered in a connection, in a relationship, right? And I can really allow myself to be in an empowering connection, right? With a person who is also has the has the kind of responsibility that I share as well. And the kind of doubt that comes up is like, oh, what you're asking for is not really real, or it's not going to happen, stuff like that. But the real confidence and the real character development is that kind of unshakable, undeniable yes, right? I've held space, I've done visualization, affirmation, I am aligning myself with my most expressive, shameless, fearless, bold version. And that is definitely going to be the greatest masterpiece, right? And the relationship is simply the sort of manifestation of a greater sort of, revelation about the power of one's love, right? The power of connection and the power of being able to share a sort of wholeness with a person.